Oh.
Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Hello, apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the weekly video games podcast where we give our impressions of the games that you can play today and react to the latest news from the wonderful world of video games. We're here every Monday on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. This week, I'm joined once again by the three-time Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz champion. It's Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How's it going?
Well, good, brother. Yourself?
Yes, not too bad. You've been sleeping a lot this weekend. Does that mean you've been out boozing?
I went out Friday night.
Christ.
I'm rather late. Well, rather early, actually. 8 a.m.
8 a.m?
Walked through the door 8 a.m. I stayed awake for how long was it? Went to bed at about 9.
Yeah.
Stayed up for about 9. Went to sleep for 9. Got up about 3. Then went back to bed at 6. And woke up at 9:30 the next day.
Oh.
Saturday's just completely gone.
Barely had a weekend, this one.
Oh, absolute fucking blow. And then today, I had McDonald's for breakfast.
Yep, standard.
And I've just polished off
The KFC.
KFC. So
What did you have from KFC? That's the real question.
10 funky mini. There's still some in there if you want it.
Oh, I'd have had that.
2 rotten old.
Oh, bring that round after this. I'll have that. I fucking love that shit. Well, that is a big weekend for you, but you're here firing on all cylinders somehow, drinking some OJ, try and get some vitamins, as the Americans would say, back in the system. Vitamin C. We're here to chat some video games, mainly sort of a news type show. There might be, if we get time, to squeeze in some quick impressions for a particular video game, but we do have a fair bit to get through. We didn't miss Gamescom and an open night live, but we haven't been back since then because there was a bank holiday the week after, so we'll catch up a little bit on that. Nothing major, only the bits that interested us, and pick out a few games. And then fortunately, Jim Ryan's been at it again this week, so he always seems to produce some news or things to talk about, whether it's money pinching or money grabbing or whatever. He's always providing stuff for us to talk about. And Sony also announced that they have a showcase this week, so that'll be Thursday night for us, I think 9 p.m, and they're going to talk about the future of the PlayStation 5, so we're going to have a little chat about that. And if we've got time at the end, well, we could just chuck it away and say, Jim, stop trying to pull pants down.
Stop it, mate. It's fuck the old console.
Yeah.
Too loud. No games. Piss off.
Not interested. Logan's had problems with his PS5, so he got one, and he's had problems with the power, he reckons, saying it won't always switch on. That's to power cycle it. Now, knowing that clown, he's probably got it in about 4 extensions with 8 other things running off the plug. He claims he hasn't, but I've seen some awful cable management and all sorts there. So he'll be back on the podcast in the near future to discuss that and other things. But for this week, let's get cracking. Before we get to the Gamescom stuff, because we're doing a lot of game impressions for like 3 weeks straight, we missed Pokemon Legends Arceus trailer that came out. This, to me, looked like almost a dream come true. This was what I was thinking. Right, this is what I'm after. This is what I want.
I may have even missed it myself. It was like a Pokemon
Direct.
What's it called?
Yeah, they did a Pokemon Direct or showcase or whatever they call them, and this made up a big part of it. The one thing I would say is that despite it looking like the framework is kind of what I wanted, it didn't half look rough as ours is. It looks so bad, like in terms of its visuals, that it's so far behind. Like,
oh yeah, no, I did see this. I did.
So, question 1: are you happy with the way it looks, just from an aesthetic point of view? And would that even put you? Would you consider being put off by that? Like looking like a 3DS game blown up 480p and then chucked on that OLED. How's that gonna work?
Because I'm still playing. I haven't touched it for a little while, but I was playing Sword, and that's very box standard. But what you do see is pretty gorgeous for its time. The trouble is, the graphics are getting very good now. Likes of what's his name, Ratchet and Clank, and all these AAA titles. So then when we go back to the trusty 720p rust bucket, and you see these sort of pure visuals, it's hard to.
Well, Zelda looks alright.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think what's happened. I mean, we all know that when the Switch come along, they were still developing a lot of games for 3DS as well. And with this hybrid, the assumption was they're going to fuse the two studio pipelines, and everything's going to come to Switch. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like we're certainly seeing like the next sort of new Pokemon game would probably have been on 3DS historically if the Switch didn't exist. And I think they haven't got the talent, some of these studios, to produce the big guns on the big platforms. We've seen the Switch doesn't have to look awful. There's ways around making it look decent. This just looked plain shit, like in terms of its visuals, and it's unfortunate because it feels like it's, like I said, it's the childhood dream perhaps coming to fruition, but in rough as ours visuals, which I don't know. I don't know if that'll put people off or put myself off.
Flat grass. It looks like you're sticking a game on low settings on PC.
Ultra low.
Oh, where's me fucking foliage?
Potato mode.
But well, you can tell they're definitely going for a Breath of the Wild aesthetic, but
ain't close though.
More barren wasteland than ever.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's something we'll keep an eye on. It's due out early next year. It's on the hype list, which we'll probably revisit in a week or so.
Was it Diamond? Was that given? They were given trailers as well.
Yeah, I'm not playing that.
Sick of it.
I don't care. I'm not playing that old crap. Not interested. Sorry. Like I've been waiting for these guys to do something proper with Pokemon, which Arceus looks like it's going to be that, but it's just going to look.
You got
awful.
a little section of Sword that was a taster of this, and then the real Dreamboat's Pokemon Snap. We just get that camera out.
I don't remember that looking this bad.
But it does look rough as ours, isn't? Frame rates are getting questioned as well.
The most successful entertainment franchise in the entire world, Pokemon is. Like, time to fucking reinvest that money into some people that can get some fucking work out, make this shit look good. Anyway, we'll see. If it plays really well and it's the structure I want, it's onto a winner, but people will be put off by that. Gamescom 2021. No in-person stuff, but there was a couple of showcases. Xbox did their own showcase on the Tuesday. Awful, like such a waste of my time. Never known anything like it. They had like two objectives that night. One, to give us the Halo Infinite release date, which they saved and gave to Keighley. I was like, okay. And then two was to get this fucking mini fridge they've been promising, get the details out for that.
Yeah.
I want to pre-order one and buy one, and they've gone quiet on it. So they hit production snarl-ups for that. They did neither. They put a load of crap on there of stuff we've already seen. They even highlighted Psychonauts, which was coming out the next day. So it's a bit fucking late. It's coming out tomorrow. All the reviews are out, mate. Good.
Fucking Kojima was going to be announced. The Kojima Xbox rumour.
The letter of intent coming to fruition. Clearly not. So that was a big waste of my time, I felt like. Opening Night Live was somewhat better, longer, but had a bit more meat on the bones. We're not going to go blow for blow through that. I've just picked out two things that I felt were interesting. First one is we're going to get a Saints Row reboot. So, first of all, from your perspective, how are you sitting with the Saints Row franchise? Is this something that you've delved into, played, completed, done them all, done Get Out of Hell, all that crap, or you
that's the only one I haven't. I fell off. I've done 1 to 4.
Yeah,
I enjoyed all of them, to be honest. I loved their sort of like the first one. I really liked 1. I played 1 on the 360, and then 2 was 360 here again. Then 3 and 4 I did on PC. And yeah, they were growing stale, but I did quite like that sort of the giving up trying to be like a GTA clone and had just gone for a fucking silly, be running around the streets with dildos, fucking hitting people,
Yeah,
and they were short and sweet, and you know,
yeah.
and but they did get a bit meh. So yeah, like I said, I haven't played Get Out of Hell. That is on my hit list just because it's only a couple of hours long. Um, but no, yeah, this seems like a complete reboot. Well, I say complete reboot. It still looks like it's got elements of the old Saints Row, but certainly not going to be any characters by the looks of it
Not
returning or anything.
no.
Clean sweep, gone through the whole new city that looks sort of GTA-esque, sort of like it's a bit more southern of Americas. Um, but yeah, I thought it was really good. The trailer, I loved that they done like a CGI trailer. I was like, oh, all right, yeah, this is all right. And then they hit you with a little bit of gameplay, and I was like, oh, there we go. That's what new games should be doing.
Yeah, it was better
Because
than what most people put together. Although I don't know. It was a bit. They trailerized the gameplay, so it's difficult to actually
yeah,
see. Kind
the
of.
actual gameplay.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. The CG one reminded me of that one they'd done for Xbox. Was it that vampire thing, Red?
Oh, Redfall. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I was like,
garbage.
oh, it's one of these sort of things. But yeah, it just looks like more crazy shit. Just be interested to see like some decent walkthrough gameplay. Like I say, you can see bits of how it looked and run. Cool.
Christ,
But
those drugs.
other than that, we need to see more of it. But yes, coming quite soon. It's like March or something.
Yeah, it's coming early next year, so we'll see about exactly when or how it's gonna pan out. I've played all of them other than Get Out of Hell. I think I've played whatever ones you could play co-op. I think was it 3 and 4. I played with Hall.
You could do co-op as well. Yeah, I think one was the only one that wasn't. 2, 3, and 4 were co-op.
Yeah,
Yeah.
25th of February. We'd like to see that.
4. So that is only a few. Well,
Yeah, the last
few
thing they
months.
did related to this was Agents of Mayhem, which was a real
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they sort of
pant
splintered off and went,
shitter.
here we go.
Yeah, didn't do too well. So they've obviously gone back to
Seriously.
using the Saints Row name. I don't know. I'll wait and see. Want to see a bit more
Yeah.
about it and whether it can be of interest. But not the worst thing I've seen in the world.
No.
And the other thing that really caught my eye, I don't know if it's going to be any good or not, but this Do KV, this mad. I thought I'd accidentally taken some acid when I started watching this. It
Drugs
looks
have stuck to it.
it looks absolutely crazy. Now it started off as an MMO. I'm led to believe by doing the smallest amount of research to get through the podcast. It doesn't seem to be that. It's now more of an open world creature collector. And we just spoke about Pokemon and Arceus and that looking like shit. This is on the other side of the scale. This looked really nice for what it was. It looked, in some aspects looked really like photorealistic, but kind of had a nice, well, not nice, but a bit of an anime feel to the way the people and the characters looked. It looks like you're controlling some kids roaring around collecting fucking monsters and skateboarding and biking, and he was on a jet ski at one point. Like tons and tons of elements there, and it all looked very nice. My only concern would be how it'll perform. It just feels like it's too good to be true when things look like that. But what say you, Do KV?
OKV, yeah, I'm quite interested in this. It, like you say, it does. It's a very like the realism. It's a weird hybrid of incredible visuals in the back, and then it's almost like it looks like a sort of like augmented reality game with like such a realistic background with these fucking like anime characters on there. But yeah, it's interesting, and to be intrigued to see, like say, how it runs. Just watching the trailer again now, it really looks very good. Like in terms of graphics, like too good.
That's the thing, isn't it?
How's
Like,
that? Is that gonna be 20 FPS flop?
that's the thing.
What is this? Xbox only? Is it Xbox? Or is this on all?
No, I think it's on. I think it's on everything. I don't see an exclusivity thing. It was on opening night live. It won't be on the Switch. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Never
heard of them.
Pearl Abyss. So they did what's it called, Black Desert, which
Oh,
looked really nice. Like it kind of looked like an MMO I might play, and then never
on the fucking Pokemon trail.
never really
Just like
followed
this.
through. But South
Thanks,
Korean, so don't get too many developers from that far east and part of there. But I'm interested to see how what this is
Yeah,
like because
yeah. I think it could be a Pokemon game if they just stick the license on it, go, and then now we're talking.
yeah,
Well, but no,
interesting.
interesting. But definitely one to keep the eye on.
Yeah, that's definitely it for sure. Any other things from Gamescom from your view?
No, did the cloud gaming announcement tickle? I suppose it don't because we've got the new consoles, but they announced that you could do the cloud gaming on any old
Yes, so you can put your.
internet.
I'm sure they announced this months ago, or a few weeks ago, and I guess now it's ready to roll out. But yeah, you can play your Series X games on your Xbox One or One X via the cloud. So I don't know if you can't get hold of one, I guess you could play it via that. Although I'd still argue you're probably better off just playing the Xbox One version until you can play it locally, because that streaming sometimes is a diabolical sack of shit. I had a little go of it the other day, actually, not the other day, a week or so ago, for a game that I was playing that we'll have some impressions on in the coming weeks, and I'll spill the beans on that. But that wasn't particularly impressive.
No, this the conference where it was like, right, here we go, one last thing, and it was Death Stranding.
Yes, yeah, it's like a 9-minute trailer of Death Stranding director's cut, and that was it. So that was a bit of a strange placement. Probably would have put something less expected there, because we all knew that was there. So it was like, when is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? And he ended the show with that. My favourite part of that trailer was it was like, new ways to deliver it. It's like reading off new weapons, new melee combo, all this stuff, and then one of the little titles that brought up to show the next phase of gameplay was just new fun. And it was fucking Daryl driving around in a car on some track he'd built, and I was like, this guy's trying to save the world, yeah, and he's out there playing Mario Kart in the fucking desert. He's got to get his priorities right, letting the robots do all his work for him. So yeah, that's coming, and that was the last thing we saw.
Yeah,
but I mentioned earlier that we got a Halo Infinite release date. We didn't get it at the Xbox showcase. Phil palmed it off for Jeff to do, and I was thinking, right, this is it. We're going to see some campaign footage here, and we just got treated to a CGI trailer of like the first season for the multiplayer, and I was like, right. And then before this, we had some other news about certain features missing and whatnot. And since then, that's confirmed. Yeah, and we've since had some updates of how the online progression is going to be handled. But starting from the top, Halo Infinite will be in our hands 8th of December this year, so it's making this year. You can buy a custom Elite controller, which looked quite nice.
I like that.
But at 160, 180 UK pounds, you've got a query. You can get a Series S for another 50, 60 quid. So when those sort of comparisons are made, you think, what's going on there? Still no mini fridge, as I mentioned. A console, a collector's console as well, which looked pretty good, but no good for me. But really, again, it's another focus on multiplayer, and the campaign has been missing really from detail since that infamous showing where they were showing the future of the Xbox Series X before it launched, and then after that they delayed it because everyone shit all over the demo that was showed, and we had Craig the monkey or whatever he was looking like he'd fit well in with Pokemon Legends Arceus, that sort of level of fidelity.
David.
And I don't know. So, what's your thoughts on where Halo Infinite's at? Because it's a huge franchise for Xbox. They've got Forza Horizon 5 coming, but there's a racing game, and then there's your flagship. Well, what was, I don't know if it still is, might not be after this, your flagship IP that has been synonymous with your brand for 20 years now. And we've had some concerning details coming out about things missing in the campaign, and we just haven't seen it. But what's your gut check on Infinite?
Yeah, it is annoying. I've been wanting to see revised gameplay. I'm not convinced it has changed at all.
No,
I think it's just been polished a little bit. I can't see it being that different to what we saw before. Just maybe polished up slightly performance-wise and not so much popping. But I don't think we're going to get any aesthetic changes or anything. But the biggest thing it's not that. To be fair, the last two campaigns I have played solo, but just the fact that we're not going to be treated to co-op campaigning.
No.
That is an absolute stinker. If that's all we're getting day one,
Well.
is multiplayer off the scenes for now? Is it? Or is it just campaign on day one?
So day one will be multiplayer and campaign, but the multiplayer is free to play, separate,
Oh, right.
separate download, separate component,
Oh.
probably separate achievements. Don't know how they're going to work that, but if you to play that, you don't need to even have a purchase of the
Game
campaign.
Pass.
You don't need Game Pass. You just need Xbox Live Gold, or if you're playing on PC, I guess you wouldn't even need that. You can just play it for
Straight in.
So that's a free to play component. That's all coming. But campaign, it's weird because it is two different things, really. It's not one package anymore.
No, it's weird.
But they're all released on the same date, even though we're missing features on one half. What are you doing, Phil?
It is concerning, like you say, because it's their flagship, and they made such a thing about how this is like the revise of it. A soft reboot.
We've delayed it a year because of your feedback. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and then we're getting thumbs up asses where, 3-4 months away from it. Let's go in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, they could do a reveal of the campaign. We could all look silly in a couple of weeks, which I would welcome. But when you start coming out before Gamescom's even started, saying, right, you're not getting Forge, that's coming 6 months down the line, is the sort of timetable for that, and you're not getting co-op campaign, that's coming 3 months or so down the line. I'm like, they're cutting features to make this release date. So it can't be going completely smoothly, because if it was going that well, those features would be in there day one and would be off to the races. But it does make me pause and wonder what's going on with the campaign. And
There could be another delay.
I think now they've not. I can't see how why in August you would say here's the release date and it being so close, and then bin it again.
True.
What I don't understand is why they're even pushing for this release date at all. Like one of the things that I said last year and was talking about the power of Game Pass and where it would be really beneficial to us is not only just the price and the value you get, but there's no need for games to meet arbitrary release dates in reality, because the amount of sales they're going to get are going to be reduced because it's going to be on Game Pass. So you're not looking for that end of quarter sales rush as such. And that's even more relevant to Halo, because you can get the multiplayer for free anyway. So people might not even bother buying it. But in this case, it feels like for some reason they want it out this year. December's late. That's the really late. Like, you don't normally get games released that late. I mean, this year we've got Dying Light 2 and Halo in December. I think we had Smash one year that was that late. Last year, do you remember the last game that was delayed and released in fucking December that year?
Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. I was just trying to think that was the year before when it got announced that when old Keanu come out and went, "Yep, this is the release date."
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to have Infinite last year, remember, to launch the Series X.
Yeah.
Imagine the state of it then.
A real fucking barrel of shit.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm wrong, because not having the co-op campaign is a blow for me, because I'd normally go through it and then Hall, and I think last time I did it with Hall, Pete and Logan, we did the Halo 5 campaign on Legendary and just played through it, and it was a good crack. But not having that sort of, I know it'd be like 3 months or so. They're saying now it could be longer for all we know. It could get delayed. That's a bit of a stinker for us and me, because by the time 3 months comes about, I'm like, I can't be bothered to go back to that.
Yeah, it's a bit like, well, what's it called? The Cyberpunk deal, like no one wants to play it now until this new bad boy comes out, the upgrade. But even then, I think people just go,
Can't be bothered now, yeah. It's just a bit strange. Like I said, they could come out of a big campaign reveal and it will turn things. We'll be like, right, this does look shit hot now. Yes, we're not getting co-op campaign, but if we want to experience it, it looks like it's going to be a good experience. But I'm just a bit shocked by the incessant, we have to release it in December.
Yeah. There's obviously with the special edition console and the controller and things, they're obviously using it as their big holiday thing, because they must sell a lot of consoles for Christmas stuff. So having that bundle deal, whatever it is, they're still going for it, but yeah, it just seems so strange to be that this close, 3 months out, and we ain't got nothing.
We ain't seen it. So,
Give us
and also,
something.
if you're, because some people have said to me, they say all you guys say whenever there's a game coming out, if there's something wrong with it and it's on Game Pass, you just both say, well, it's on Game Pass, so it's all right. And I was like, yes, but it's that's kind of one of the trade-offs. And they went, well, I'm buying my games physically. I'm paying $54.99 for this toot. And I was like, that is a good point. if you don't want to rent your games off a Game Pass, which is what it is, it's a rental service to give you access to these games. Like if you go out and want to buy these, you're paying the prices that have been quoted previously. I think, and Halo Infinite's campaign is still $54.99. Given the fact that you don't need it for the multiplayer, that seems a bit steep as well. So there's going to be people. Nana's going to go out and buy that for Jimmy. And then what we're going to do there? He's going to say, what, I've just played 3 hours of a campaign. That's it. And that was $54.99, was it?
Bloody Nora. Yeah, that ain't ideal, is it?
I don't know about all this. I think the multiplayers, like the tests they did, all the impressions were so positive about that. Everyone that played it was like, this plays really well. They've nailed the online side of things. But
was it an open one? Was it?
Hmm?
Was it an open beta for the thing, or
You had
just
to sign up, and there was no guarantee you would get picked.
right?
They haven't done like a full blown everyone comes steamrolling in, so that might be something that will play.
Trouble.
But I think the multiplayer side is going to be huge and good. Yep. But the campaign may struggle. I hope I'm wrong, and it ends up being back to form. But
I'd like to see it come back very good, but I got to say, after the last two, you just got that sour taste waiting.
Oh yeah,
for
yeah. Even with the online stuff, there's a few concerning bits and pieces coming out. One that is free to play, so we're going down this battle pass route, and microtransactions. It's gonna be monetized. That's the name of the game. And then the other thing that came out post Gamescom was that the progression is going to be handled in the form of challenges rather than just like XP for winning or taking part. So most shooters, typically when I've played them, you'll level up just by playing the game, and if you lose, you'll get slightly less XP. If you get a load of kills, you'll get slightly more XP. What's been suggested here is that the way to increase your level up or maybe your XP is to complete set challenges. So it might be, and I'm making this up, I don't know what it's going to be, it might say get 5 headshots, and then only when you've done those 5 headshots in multiplayer do you get like the XP reward for it. So you could play 10 games, not you could win every game, but if you don't hit or tick off one of these challenges, you're not going to progress. I'm sure there's going to be challenges like win 10 games, that'll be one of them and whatnot. But depending on how they structure that could be rather annoying. If they have to make it so that they're natural to people. I don't want to get to a stage where I've done all my challenges for the day, and there's any number of them, and it's like, right, now go and get 10 sniper kills. I'm like, well, it's just not going to happen, is it? Like, I'm going to be playing unnaturally, or it might be like getting the Warthog and drive around for 10 minutes. It's like, I'm not even playing the game at that point. I'm not going to help my teammates. I'm just going to jump in the Warthog and drive off to get my challenges ticked off. I've seen it in Fortnite when they started doing it for the battle passes. People running off to areas to do certain things, like knocking down walls or whatever. And I was like, well, that's, you're not playing the game naturally at that point. The competitive nature's gone. Yeah. They could make it easy and just make it that it's you'll just naturally get it by winning and playing and killing, which is fine if they've got enough to do that. But it just seemed like a bit of an odd thing to not have him in place, because usually your challenges would supplement the normal progression. Like you tick a challenge off and get more XP, but you'd have been building it up, by just playing the game up until then. What say you? Because we're not really the multiplayer experts or players here. But would that put you off even going full blown into it? Because it seems like a little bit of a faff.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not on a multiplayer gamer, to be honest. Although probably the most I ever played was the old Halo, some COD. But no, it looks like they're definitely trying to aim for that sort of Rockets type and Fortnite-esque.
But even those, you get XP for taking part. Like you progress, even if you drop in the game and die.
Yeah, that's certainly going to put me off more, because then I won't having that like normal XP leveling up system probably would make me want to, especially as they're sort of showing off the customization now. You can like make your character
Yeah.
look more. Some of them I've seen don't even look like Halo things.
Half of them will be locked beyond the battle pass, so you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Have they announced a battle royale mode yet? Or...
No, they haven't. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that and whatnot. But they've not announced that. There was rumours circulating that some sort of mode like that would be coming.
Yeah.
Which would be quite cool in the Halo world, considering like if you get all the weapons and the vehicles and on a massive map, that would be good fun, I think. But
nah, they want a slice of that battle pass pie, don't they? You know, even things like fucking Fall Guys coming out, and they're like, oh, give us a slice of that.
Yeah.
So they obviously know where they're going to be making top dollar from it. And Halo Online is the sort of game that a lot of people do dedicate. You know, you watch the hours creep up for that.
yeah.
I just hope the campaign's a lot bigger than the sort of bolt-on ones we were tending to get.
Yeah, that's definitely the big unknown at the moment. I still think the multiplayer is going to be huge. People are going to love it, and it is free to play. So there is, an element
I want to get into it, but nothing's suckered me in enough.
Well, you got to get 35 headshots in a row without dying to tick off the challenge, or you ain't going to get your XP, Adkins. So
right after 2 minutes, and I'm like, right, yeah, not for me. But after playing the brilliant campaign, what I'm expecting it to be, come on, after all these years, I go, lovely, right, I want to continue this in this terrific, absolute worldie of a multiplayer.
Yeah.
I go, oh, XP, none about, what's going on here? You got whole popping headshots at level 48 after 2 days.
Yeah. The
The
way they mitigate is to make the changes so low level that you would just you'd get 2 kills.
Yeah.
Like that's really the play 5 matches, that sort of thing. So that as long as they structure it kind of in that way, I don't think people in practice will have too many issues with it. But just a bit of a strange way to do it, because normally it's there to supplement progression, not be the main driver. But if they get it right, people won't notice anyway, because you'll just be ticking them off naturally. Like I say, it's if they start getting to the stage where you've got to start doing things outside of the competitive nature of the game just to tick off a fucking challenge to get some XP, to get the next level, to upgrade your battle pass and get your new helmet.
Little toy in it.
15 quid or whatever it was. But we'll see. December the 8th, that's when the whole package drops in 2 goes. Campaign, and multiplayer. I mean, what happens if this is absolute disaster zone? Let's just think of the worst case scenario. So the campaign is shit. And the multiplayer launches and you can't get in it. It's like the online disaster we sometimes get with games, and people can't log in, it's kicking them out. Is that it for 343? Does Phil just go, right, you're liquidated now?
Yeah, sick of it. That's free on the bounce. You've absolutely fucked it.
Yeah.
Bungie, getting back. That's it. We'll
pay top dollar.
Come back. Yeah, I think it could be their last. Certainly, because the Halo franchise is so loved. You know, they've talked about a film. They've done various little live action series and stuff like that. It is so huge. I'm sure it will get another chance, but I think they would look into another studio if this doesn't, at least do semi well.
Yeah.
It feels like it's set up to fail, but I really hope it ain't, because it needs a lift.
Needs a lift, but maybe it's time just to put it on its knees and then stick a bullet in the back of its head, like old Lenny, and just put him out of his misery and say, "Look, you're gone." We just say bye, Chief. Just absolutely blow him away and say, "Look, you had a good run, boy."
Belong in Fortnite as a Fortnite character.
Yeah.
That is where
that's where you'll live forever inside Fortnite. Bloody hell. Well, that's all speculation. We'll see how that pans out later on in the year. What isn't speculation is that Horizon Forbidden West was officially delayed. We had the old rumour mill saying it ain't making it this year. And I think, after the state of play, which gave us 14 minutes of gameplay, Herman Hulse did an interview afterwards, and they said, when can we expect to play it? And he said, honestly, I don't know. He went, we're trying to get it for this year, but we don't know at this stage. At that point, I was like, it ain't making it.
playing now until
they never exceed the milestone and like they never over deliver, do they? It's always the other way. It's always going to take a bit longer. It's never as short than they anticipate. So at that point, I was like, that's fine. We're not going to get it till February, but officially they announced the February release date. It'd be like 5 years close to like the day it came out. The original came out. I think it'd be 5 years, wouldn't it? Yeah, 2017 was it, or 2018? I can't remember.
A few days before Albert came into the world.
That's it, yeah. So it's not far away. It'll be weeks, won't it? Away from.
Same as Switch as well. The Switch, we had the Switch with Breath of the Wild and that, didn't we? Yeah, 2017, and yeah. So that's like you say. As soon as he says that, you're like, right.
So I'm not getting it till then, which is fine. Like they're almost doing the opposite to what happening with Halo. Like let's delay it and get it. Let's delay it and hopefully get it right. Whereas it feels like Infinite's like, no, you're coming out on this year by hook or by crook, even though it's going on Game Pass. So the sales are of any time in the world are a low priority. I still don't get that. The point was, I was hoping Game Pass would eliminate these dates. I've said that already. Anyway, we're talking about Horizon. 60 FPS patch for the original on PS5, so that made me very happy.
That was the best thing to come out of Gamescom.
Honestly, that was the one thing I was just like, yes, like a little fist pump. I was like, thank fuck, I've been waiting for that for so long. So I'm diving back into that before the new one comes out. So we're getting that, which is good. Then we've had a bit of a kerfuffle with old Jimmy again. Old Mr. Ryan, up to his old tricks, and Sony just, communication-wise, just being a walking disaster. Like, they just can't seem to communicate things properly. They put policies in place that don't make any sense, that are contrived, that are convoluted, and they hit that out of the park again this past week when they announced the pre-order details for Horizon Forbidden West. The long and short of it was there's about fucking 8 versions of the game you could buy across PS4 and PS5. Now, the only way, if you wanted to buy the PS4 version, and then at some point, if you bought a PS5 to upgrade it, was to buy, I think it was not the special edition, but maybe the collector's edition, which was 80 quid basically, or $80. And that would give you dual entitlement if you got that. Okay, so that's the only way to do it. If you bought it at $60, you couldn't even pay a tenner to upgrade it. It weren't possible. You had to get this version on PS4. In the future, you could then upgrade it. And everyone was like, what are you clowns doing? Big uproar. Why can't we do this? Previously, it had been mentioned as one of the games that perhaps would be entitled to a free upgrade. Like Jim Ryan gave an interview, and that was listed in that interview saying things like Sackboy and Miles Morales were all going to be upgrades for free. And then they've backpedaled. They've gone back on that particular...
Power of the people. There's a few things that have done this. They've made these decisions, and the power of the people have just gone, nah, we ain't having that.
We're not, Jim, we're not having that. Stop talking shit all your life.
What was the last thing? I suppose it dates back to the Halo Infinite that people were like, nah, that's not good enough. You stop, take that back and do it. And they go, right.
Do it properly. And then I reckon all they've done is just left it on the side for a year, gone, we're going to leave that.
Yeah, make it look like we're doing something.
Yeah. So they've changed it now in that if you buy the PS4 version, disc or digital, and you have a PS5 or access to a PS5, you can now upgrade that version of the game for free to the PS5 version.
Yep.
But in classic Jim Ryan style, you can still buy the PS5 version for 70 quid.
Yeah.
And pay, so you pay a tenner more for nothing, or you can buy the PS4 version on your PS5, upgrade it for free, and it'll be 60 quid. So why are we even leaving that up at 70 quid is my question. I mean, what are they doing?
It's mental. I also went and had a little look at that because they've just updated their PlayStation blog.
Yes.
And let me show you what else there is. I was reading it.
Go on then.
They also, Jim has snuck this in for any of you fans thinking that you have the power to change stuff. This is quote. I also want to confirm today that moving forward, PlayStation's first-party exclusive cross-gen titles, newly releasing on PS4 and PS5, both Digital and physical will offer a $10 USD digital upgrade option from PS4 to PS5. This will apply to the next God of War and Gran Turismo 7.
So they're getting ahead of the game. So these are the cross-gen games, or the cross-gen sort of situation that Jim Ryan previously said we believe in separate generations. So by originally going back on that mantra, that's how we've got in this little pickle, isn't it?
Yeah, now. So he's now gone, we'll give you this one for free if you've kicked up such a fuss.
Yep.
But getting it in now, $10 each for them fucks.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I mean, the £10 thing, it is shit. Oh, it is. It's not.
to be fair, I've had to happily do that when Spider-Man came out, and I was like, I ain't buying that again.
Yeah.
But there is the option. It was 20 quid, I think. So I'll wait for it. But I'll happily do that. Same with Ghost of Tsushima. If they had a £10 option, I'd probably do that. Maybe Death Stranding. I want the extra fun.
Yeah, you want more fun.
But we don't be getting. We get
New
$30. Like, cool.
Yeah, they've I think now they've done this. It's kind of good in a shit sandwich that this is of paying for upgrades and the new price point for PS5 games. The only saving grace to come out of this is now they've decided that they're going to simplify it. Like now it's £10 to upgrade, and we just know where we stand now, don't we?
Yeah,
we don't have to be caring about these fucking director's cuts, and then
I think by the time this fucking Gran Turismo and God of War, in the last previous generations, this would have been being wrapped up now. That's it. We won't be having these cross-gens, but because fucking COVID, it's still apparently a bastard to get PS5s, even though you about 8 of them since.
I have managed to get a few for other people. Yeah,
I even had Cox sitting on there. We got half a Dimp buying them every week.
Yeah,
so I've got Logan. Pee-wee got one yet?
Pee-wee's not. No, he's Xbox.
Hall's
got one.
Krog's
got one. Parky's got one. I've got one. You've got one. Adcock's had 2. I've had 3 or 4. Not for myself, but for other people to help them out.
Yeah.
You can get them.
You can get them.
You can get them.
So they should be by God of War, or the next big game that we hopefully will find out once Silent Hills gets announced next week, or the Metal Gear Reprise. We should be starting to see these games that this option isn't included at all. It will be solely PS5. No cutbacks for getting back on that.
Yeah, it'll be how fucking Jim told us a year and a half ago it was going to be.
Yeah.
But this is just another step of like, how many times are they going to say something and for it to be just wrong, or be overcomplicated, and then having to like backtrack on things? This is a pattern now, surely, at this point, of just garbage communication.
We had it with Xbox One, with the TV, going back. Now it's Jim's turn. He fucking blew them away that year, or that gen. He blew them away, took the piss out of them. In that, which the Xbox should be doing videos for how well their Game Pass. When they done that video about video sharing, do you remember? This is how you share a PlayStation game.
They should just do it. It's how you upgrade your fucking new gen console. It just does it for you. Smart delivery.
Smart delivery. Just boom. No need. Any console you want, any controller you can play it on. Wallop.
Play it on the fucking phone if you want. Don't even need the gear.
Jim's got blown away. He's got his head up. He's been on the blow. Bless him. He's had a fucking. he's still living off of that PS4. He's gone.
He wasn't even managing that though. He was like you had Sean Layden in there. You had Shuey in there. Like he didn't do the PS4. He was He's riding the wave of that, and they're getting away with it. But I don't know how much. If Xbox get their shit together and just release 2 top league titles like the same ilk as God of War, the same ilk as a Last of Us, like Starfield was that, the conversation was changing so quickly, because at the moment they're still clinging on to we've got the best games, for lack of a better term, for single player players, and they can't be touched. You can only get them on here, and then we'll release them on PC a few years later. But for now, you can only get them on this PlayStation. If Xbox and Microsoft and Phil get heads out of arses and perform a couple of those, then it's like, hang on Game Pass over there I can get it. Or even if you want to buy the game physically and that's your jam, $54.99, not 70 quid, 15 quid discounts. Come on, getting silly now, PlayStation. Anyway, the game's coming out in February. Doubt it'll slip anymore, but we don't really know what's going to happen. One thing we do know is going to happen is this week we have the PlayStation Showcase 2021. Here's a quick snippet of what they put on their blog so we can get a bit of a taste of what they've said and what they haven't said. So it says, tune in Thursday the 9th. It's got the timings there. It's got BST. Excellent. Well done, Sony. For a look into the future of PS5. So I think that's something I'm going to bolden that so I remember to come back to it. The showcase will weigh in at around 40 minutes and include updates from PlayStation Studios and some of the industry's most imaginative developers for games releasing this holiday and beyond. And stick around after for a presentation to get more updates from some of the studio teams featured in the showcase. They're doing a post-show. One thing to note, PlayStation's next generation VR won't make an appearance this time, but there will still be plenty of great PlayStation 5 games from developers, large and small. We hope you can join us. So that's how they've set it up. So no VR, which I think it's a good thing to put that out there because we now know we're not going to get fucking sidelined. They're like, here's the last thing, and it's VR, and we're like, fuck's sake. Yeah. It's not there, so that's good. No. So we haven't got to worry about that infecting this party. This could be a nice celebration. But yeah, the future of PS5. So it's focused around the PlayStation 5, which is good. Now, there was a rumour this past week that the Uncharted games are going onto PC. All 5 of them, that they're going to get ported over and be sold. And people were saying, well, that's probably going to be announced at the showcase. If this is a look into the future of the PS5, then those PC ports don't belong here. They belong on a separate announcement, a separate blog. Maybe we're going to get 60 FPS unlocked in Uncharted 4. Maybe that'll be part of the deal. But that's the synopsis. That's what they've given us. That's what the blog has given us. I don't expect to see things like Horizon, because we've seen a fair amount of that. We've got a release date. Do we need to see any more of it? Probably not. They've just done a pre-order trailer. Like it's like we're done with seeing that, I think, and for a little while. Surely the one thing that is close to a guarantee is this God of War Ragnarok. Corey back out of the bins, out of the woods, coming off to show off the game. What's your thoughts on that in terms of possibilities? And is this what you would like to see at this stage?
I think because this is essentially their E3, isn't it?
Well,
They've been fucking stonewalled. Jim's been fucking cock up arse since.
And just to know, this is not a state of play.
No,
they've made a conscious effort to call this something else. The PlayStation Showcase 2021
PlayStation Experience.
Yeah, so it's not going to be that little like fucking slideshow that we see with the games that are given a couple of minutes and whatnot. They've purposely labelled it and branded it something different. So I'm expecting something a little bit, maybe a bit sort of higher production wise and whatnot, and perhaps more meaningful stuff. But back to Ragnarok. Is the time now? We know it's been delayed.
We know it's been delayed, so I assume if it's not going to be anywhere close to Horizon. Horizon's February. I reckon we're looking at September time. I reckon towards the back half of the year. Even that, you think we still haven't had anything other than an announcement, fucking trailer with just literally a logo.
I've seen the screen.
So CG trailer is what I'm thinking.
Oh
maybe.
No!
Yeah, maybe a little bit dash.
No!
Dash of gameplay, but I don't know. Depends
how
far.
Don't. You've just really burst my bubble suggesting that, because I did not even think a CG trailer would even be on the docket for God of War. But now you've put the idea in my head for Ragnarok.
Oh no!
Hold on. Let's think. Original God of War, or reboot God of War. First time they showed that off. That was that gameplay demo, wasn't it? They just showed that.
It was.
So maybe.
Oh, so you could go straight back in. Yeah,
but
you
know, if they've got nothing, it will be a CG trailer. Oh, don't. That'll be devastating in a way.
Oh, it could possibly be. But I think that I definitely think we'll get something. I don't. It might be the one last thing, but I think they're going to bring the real moolah that we're all after.
Good.
And that is knack free.
Yeah, better fucking not be. If God of War doesn't appear, like it's just not mentioned, do we have to start looking at this hype list where it's been sitting top of the tree for so long that It's not appeared here. Do we have to knock it off its perch, teach it a lesson? We've had a screen.
Do we get a release date? If it doesn't, should we be asking for release dates this early? But like I say, if it doesn't, then it has got the potential because the hype has gone down.
It's just falling out of sight, out of mind, Jobby.
Yeah.
What if it's a CG trailer?
Just
I'd
for
actually,
that,
out of spite, I'd knock it down.
3 places just for that.
It will be. It'll be a 3-place penalty if we only see CG or concept trailer for Ragnarok. That is now on tape, so we're going to have to stick to that. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll see some Ragnarok. What about, let's say, Blue Point's next project? So Demon Souls they put out for launch. The Japanese PlayStation account actually posted a tweet confirming or congratulating them on the acquisition of Sony acquiring them. Like whilst they were doing the Housemarque announcements, they said, "Oh, good, welcome to the family, Housemarque." They sent another one saying, "Welcome to the family, Blue Point," and then they took it down. So I don't know what they were doing there. Either that was someone just completely balls that up, or they did it by accident and wasn't supposed to do it so early. So do we get a look at what Blue Point are up to next? Because actually I'm starting to track their games, because we've had Shadow of the Colossus, a classic brought back from the dead. Demon Souls looked fantastic. If they tackle a project I'm in love with, like, it's going to be gold, isn't it?
It could be the absolute dreamboat. Castlevania's another one.
Yeah.
They've been heavily linked to.
But at that stage, are there any really good 3D Castlevania games? Like, I'm talking about a remake here.
Oh right, no.
Or are you saying it'd be a new game?
Well, the rumours is it's that Symphony of the Night, turn that 3D.
Right.
You had the Lord of the Shadows, I think they were like on the
Yes.
360.
Yeah.
I never really played them,
I didn't
but
play them, no.
they certainly weren't as loved as the OGs. But yeah, they were 2D, not 3D. So no, we have never had one. But that's the rumours. It's that the Metal Gear rumour, which would be delicious. We did have a tweet.
Please.
Completely unrelated from Lord Jaffe.
Yes.
He's just heard that there's a PlayStation game coming, maybe announced next week.
He didn't know.
But he said if it is, then it will blow people's minds.
What could that be? Twisted Metal, bringing his old franchise back from the dead. But so yeah, I maybe we'll see what Blue Point are up to. Could be a number of things like you've tabled there. Too soon for Insomniac?
No, I think they've not shit the bed, but where they release Miles and Ratchet. I don't think we're going to hear from them for another couple of years now.
You think they're going to have a little rest now?
Yeah, they've had a big year.
Put feet up.
Feet up for this one.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I think we have to see something from that. Especially with the likes of Forza. We know that Forza Motorsport's being made, and we're months away from Horizon, which for me is the better game. A lot of argue there, unpopular opinion, but
it's kids' game, isn't it? It's nerds' first car game, Horizon is, and then the big boys go on to Gran Turismo and Motorsport and F1.
Yeah, but they need to show off shit. You know, we're in the era of what's it called? Fucking ray tracing. Yeah. So you need to show us this fucking game. And I'd like to know. I used to love the OG fucking Gran Turismo 2.
Yeah.
I love that shit. So yeah, bring that back. We need to see that, as that's your flagship racing game.
Yep.
Or is it? You got Project Cars 3? Or what's it on?
Gran Turismo just sells silly money.
Yeah.
Like, it is, whether you think it's good or not, it's popular. So we
had a fucking decent, like, what was that last one? We had Sport, wasn't it?
Yeah, they kind of blew it with that.
Brother. And the rest of them were all like fucking weird. Even that was weird, I suppose. Like the way they released them, there's like a little beta thing. I don't know what it was. I can't remember now. A-Class.
Yeah, they done some weird prologue, didn't they? One time.
Prologue, yeah. But yeah, I want to see new IPs, to be honest. Now, or maybe or some Last of Us DLC. And Left Behind.
What about the old factions mode?
That's another one. That's been rumoured, isn't it? Multiplayer.
Sony's go at the old fucking free-to-play microtransaction gravy train. Get me that gravy train, Neil said.
With that
And
Last
Jim
of Us
went,
battle.
yeah, go on, get it. Get that gravy train here. They'll probably charge 50 quid for the base game, and it'll be riddled with microtransactions. They'll really blow it. And then we'll all be like shouting at Jim again, saying, for fuck's sake, Jimmy, pull your head out your arsehole.
So yeah, get that in. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to see?
Well, I don't know really. I want a meaningful look at stuff that's been announced and some new stuff. If that means stuff like Final Fantasy 16, I'd welcome seeing that again. GTA, again, running out of time to show the enhanced and expanded versions of GTA 5. Maybe that sits here. I don't know.
That's a flagship game this holiday season.
I know. Yeah, it'll be the bestseller probably. But yeah, really, it's. I look at God of War not in a CGI or concept view. Whatever Bluepoint are working on next, so I can even know if it's Metal Gear Solid or not, and then I'm out. I can put myself out of my misery. A couple of surprises, and then I'll be relatively happy. I'm trying not to get too hyped up because I think we've done it so many times and then gone, wow, it's 12 minutes of Gran Turismo around the Nürburgring, and you're like, right, that's a quarter of it taken up with just GT7. So that's kind of where I'm at. But we'll be watching it, and we'll probably be we'll be back next week to chat about the fallout from that, good, bad, or indifferent. Let's have our fingers crossed that we can put behind us the debacle of upgrades and whatnot, and just focus on the future of the PS5, whatever that means.
Just want to see, even a little update. It's coming up to the year anniversary in a couple of months, and it sort of feels like a very quiet year, I suppose.
Well, we are going to. I've started putting together like a league of Xbox versus PlayStation games that are only available on those platforms and not the other. I think the only rule I've put in is if it's on Switch, then it can't count. Like, so it can't be on PS4 and Switch and not on Xbox. Like that gets thrown. It has to be like PS4 or I'm saying PS4, PS5. Sorry, and Xbox Series X. It can be on PC because all of Xbox's stuff's on PC as well. It'll be interesting to reconcile those numbers because all it's going to be is an objective look at what came out, have a look at the scores, and then we will see who had the stronger year, because at the moment the narrative is that Sony's got fuck all until February and it's been barren and whatnot. But when you start putting things on paper, like I've started doing it, they're still at the moment ahead of what's come out on the Xbox side. If you're looking purely at the games that you can only get on each of those platforms. So the narrative that they've not had a lot, perhaps they haven't had a lot, but at the moment Xbox have had less. So we'll see. That will come later in the year. But
I'd like to see a big update as well on just the system. Or not a big update, but some sort of update.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who want the old, what's the name, the VRR to be working.
I don't know if you've noticed that with playing Watch Dogs. That was, and I've been getting I was getting a lot of screen tearing.
Yeah, because it's not solid, is it?
Like, cool. And they were like, yeah, this is eradicated on Xbox. I was like, right.
That's a real world example there of why that is a useful feature, particularly in this early stage when people are trying to maybe not optimizing it to solid FPS.
The biggest one for me is in production. I was gladly found out about, but it's only on their beta system. They do like a beta version, and that's the achievement or trophy list being not horizontal, vertical.
Yes, yeah.
Rather than fucking weird horizontal business.
Yeah.
So that is on its way. But yeah, just some, I don't know, adding something. Don't know what else we're missing. I don't know really what it needs, but that's the main one for me. But I just love new shit. So yeah, give us new and something to get excited about.
That's it. We've got 40 minutes, so it's not going to take up a million part of the time. That's also, on one hand, I kind of think, well, what can you really put into 40 minutes? Probably not back-to-back, wall-to-wall meaningful stuff. On the other side, if it is a bit of a disappointment, it's only 40 minutes and not hour and a half.
Like 2 hours or something, really.
Yeah, opening night live was 2 hours, and then the Xbox showcase was 90 minutes.
Oh, double.
You're fucking doing, boys. Shorten it, you bastards. That'll do for the news, I think. We've got a few minutes left. I'm going to talk very briefly about Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, which I finally managed to finish on the Switch. That's all the Switch is getting played for at the moment, is old Mario games on the online Switch profile. So I played it through I played it through the SNES emulator. Or whatever it is. I don't know if it's an emulator or what it is. I prefer just to have to buy the games. Nintendo, I'd pay a $5 for it to keep it, but it's not the way it's working. Anyway, played it on that. I love Super Mario World because I'd played so much of it when I was younger, and I played through that, I think it was earlier this year. But I did not love Super Mario World 2. So Yoshi. This could be blasphemy for some people because, you know, people have a nostalgic view of this, but
it's music, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, the main reason is it ain't a Mario game. It's not. It's the genesis of the Yoshi spin-offs. Because you're playing as Yoshi throughout the whole game. You don't control Mario. All you do with Mario is carry him on your back. It's baby Mario as well, so you're wondering where that little cunt come from.
Real.
Yeah, baby Mario. So you carry around him on your back, trying to find Luigi. He's been kidnapped by, is it Kamek? That little weird fucker that looks soft in the sky. Yeah, him. Yeah. He's looking after younger Bowser. So Bowser's young. It's a prequel. You see, if we look at the timeline, it's a lovely prequel.
Is it baby or is it? It's not Bowser's kid, Bowser Jr.
No, it's young Bowser. I think. I don't think it's Bowser Jr. Although I don't think the law books were that deep back then to to concern people. But so you got Mario on your back, little baby bastard. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't offer any level of interaction other than when you get hit. So the difference here is that usually with Mario, you get hit when you're a little small Mario, you die, don't you? You fall down a hole, you die. You can get yourself big, and if you get hit, you get an extra life almost, and then you can get hit again and you'll die. Yep. In Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, every time you get hit, you drop Mario, so that little fucker falls off your back and starts floating around in a bubble. And there's a timer that pops up, and you've got to hit him. You've got to get to him before the timer runs out, or someone nicks him, and then that's how you die. Right. So that's not so bad. But what is so incessantly annoying is every time he gets knocked off, he screams like a baby, crying.
Oh no!
It's so irritating. Like, if I'm not fond of having kids anyway, but that's put me right off. Just baby Mario squawking his head off every 40 seconds or something. So that's an annoyance. That's just it's just a real pain in the arse. The combat's mainly focused on chucking eggs at enemies. So you kind of hold an attack button and it brings up a cursor that floats up and down. Then you let go and hopefully you've timed it right and hit them. So that's a bit of a change.
Get them out,
yeah, no. You eat enemies, and then you like crap it, and then it'll pop out an egg, and it'll attach to your back, and you can get a train of about 6 of them, I think, and then you can fire them. So you spend half the level making sure you've got enough eggs to do whatever you need to do. There's no world map like in Super Mario World. So if you remember Super Mario World, like it had a world map, it's quite linear, but you could get to secret paths and go off like little side bits and what. Not the case here. Like, one of the defining things of the original Super Mario World binned. So no sort of off-piste exploration. There's bonus levels that you can get, like if you get enough collectibles throughout the round, but there's no exploration outside of the actual levels. So no world map. That was a bit of a crapper. I like walking around the lovely world map in Super Mario World. Feels a lot more linear. But the bosses are a rare highlight. They're actually pretty good. Some are really, really clever and actually really good fun to play through. A bit more
platforming sections like? Are they? Can they get
about the same? Like it's still it's no real major difference there. You kind of other than no, there's no. You can hover with Yoshi, so that kind of gives you a little bit more of a distance over things. Yeah. But the bosses are really, like, my favourite boss one is you get eaten by a frog. Yeah. That Kamek comes along, puts a spell on this. Yeah. Puts a spell on a massive frog, and then he eats you. And so you're in his gut, and you have to like upset his tummy. Oh god, the music's gone off. That means it's time to wrap up. You have to you have to upset his stomach by hitting items with the eggs into like the side of his gut, and then eventually he shits you out and dies once you deal with him. But all the boss battles have some sort of unique mechanic to them that you've got to work out because of the egg throwing and whatnot. So they're actually pretty good.
They've got the boys in to focus on these absolute beast boss battles.
I know, yeah, they are a massive step up, to be honest, because a lot of them before that were just like jumping on the head of Bowser and avoiding, getting hit and stuff. They're quite basic, but they are good. But yeah, that's really it. That's all I wanted to say. It's an old game, obviously, it's an old classic, but I didn't get on with it as well because simply it's a Yoshi game and not a Mario game. So that's all I've got to say about that.
Lovely. So, what is your scores on the doors?
I don't know if am I doing scores for things this old?
Well, I had to do Portal.
That's true. This was like 1997. What was it? 94.
We start off then. It's past the year 2000. It doesn't get a score.
Well, the only I don't know if I did it. Yes, let's do that. 2000. That seems fair. The new millennium.
New millennium of games. Anything past the Xbox
just gets.
It's got to be good. It's a good game. They didn't make shit games back then.
No, well, they weren't. I'm just seeing if I scored the other one.
As you're working your way through all these, you do a final Mario's pod of all the games.
Oh yeah, if I get through them all, I will. So the next one is Super Mario 64. So I don't know if I'm going to buck up the courage to do that, but I'll do it shortly.
On the thing.
It's on the All-Star Collection.
Lovely.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. But
yeah, sure.
Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back next week with the fallout of the PlayStation Showcase. Depending on how that goes, we'll probably revisit the hype list as well. Might be the last time before the end of the year. Potentially, we'll leave it. We'll see. But we'll revisit that. Won't be a big War and Peace because there haven't been loads of announcements. But there'll be a handful of games. We've got 2 spaces up for grabs, and we could still relegate things. We've already spoken about God of War maybe getting kicked.
Deathloop out next, is it?
Yeah, Deathloop will be out very shortly. So that's not diving in myself without seeing the reviews is how it's kind of going with that one. So yeah, September the 14th. Diablo's coming this month too, which I know a lot of people are excited about. Paper's got his New World MMO coming later on this month after it took one last delay. And then we get into October and we've got Far Cry 6, Metroid Dread, Battlefield, Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Empires if that's your jam. Then we're into November with Forza Horizon and Pokemon, the remake or the remasters of that. And then we have obviously Halo sitting there in December with Dying Light 2 for company. So it's starting to get a bit busier than it has been for most of the year.
Henna as well, that's September, isn't it?
What's that, sorry?
Henna. The Bridge of
Spirit.
Yeah,
Kenna, yes. Kenna is coming out as well, and Life is Strange. So still, there's more to play.
I did a little Facebook list, didn't I, of all the Q4 and announcements, and there's certainly a few picks there.
Yeah.
But definitely some games will be sniffed at.
Exactly. We'll get we'll start cracking on with those when they come out if they're not absolute diabolical shades of shit. So we'll do that. But for now, we're going to shut things down. So thanks for getting to the end of the podcast if you made it. If you want to support, patreon.com/Dimp Digital is the place to go. And you can join the core community if you wish to. Or twitch.tv/Dimp Digital, and you can subscribe on there either through the normal subscription method, or if you've got Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. So if you've got it and you're not using it on another channel, you could do us a solid there. But yeah, thanks to the guys that are doing it, and thanks to the patrons over at Patreon. We do appreciate your support, and those of you that want to do it, those are the details. For us though, there's nothing more to say this week other than thanks for your time and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.